Hi, it's Jen with Home by Jen, and in today's video podcast, I have sat down with the amazing Addie from frugalfanatic.com, and we are talking about budget and money and finance today. So I get questions about this all the time, and so I thought, why not bring in an expert to talk about how you can strengthen your relationship with money. It can be so paralyzing and overwhelming to even start creating a budget, and Addie really knows what it's like to simply put a budget together that works for busy families. She actually is giving away her budget binder to you guys, so all you have to do is click the link below to get your own free budget binder. It's amazing, and just it was so generous of her to allow this to everybody. So I want to thank Addie, and I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and I really hope you enjoy the interview. I am joined with the awesome Addie Ganley. Say hi, Addie.
Hey, how are you? Glad to be here.
Good. I'm great. So today we are talking about budgeting and finances and how to get started with no time or just like feeling lost or overwhelmed. So she's going to put everybody at ease today. So I'm really, really excited for her today.
Yo.
So would you mind starting out, just in case people don't know who you are, if you could let them know a little bit about you?
I am Addie Ganley. I'm a mom of 3 little boys, and I actually been in the online space in 2011. Had just two little boys at that time, and I wanted to kind of just connect with people and have an outlet to share a little piece of my world and how we were saving money, and it kind of just went from there. And it was just like a little space where kind of shared what we were doing and started a blog, and I feel like the past couple of years I've just built upon it and created an online business.
That's so awesome. And if you guys don't know, she actually has 2 websites, which is like
crazy.
It's hard enough to keep up with one, but you have 2, and you have kids and a husband, and
yeah, it's rough. I have frugalfanatic.com. That's where I started, and then last year I have another site that I created that's just addieganley.com, just because of the transitions I've made in my business. So it's a lot. It's hard to juggle, but it's so much fun, and I would not trade it for anything.
It kind of is addicting, isn't it?
It is. And I feel like I never really thought that I'd be so passionate about this, because I actually have a teaching degree and I have a master's in business. And after I had the kids, I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm not using either one of my degrees. And now I kind of feel like I'm using them both in a way, because I'm like teaching stuff online, and it's just been a lot of fun.
That's really an amazing and creative way to use your
I know.
degrees.
Well,
I
didn't plan it. I can't take credit for planning that out. I just kind of stumbled upon it. It just happened.
Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, so I mean, I want to get back to your website, the Frugal Fanatic, and I will link all of this below, so you guys don't have to worry about remembering or spelling or anything like that. If you just go, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see her beautiful picture below and the link to her website. So don't you guys worry. But you really talk about areas of money, saving it, making it, and budgeting. So I'd really love to dive into those areas because I know a lot of moms. I mean, I get emails all the time about certain different areas, and that's why I started this podcast, is because like I'm in no position to teach people how to budget money. I could probably, use some pointers. But so I just want to dive in, and so what are some ways that busy moms could do today to start saving money?
So I always tell people the very first step in saving money is just like figuring out where your money's actually going. So I feel like people really panic when they hear like, oh, I need a budget, I need to save money, like we need to pay off our bills. But step one is literally figuring out where your money's going. Because most people think like, I don't get paid enough, I don't make enough money, I'm struggling to pay my bills. When really, if you just sit down and kind of see like where you're spending the money, where the majority of your money is going, you'll actually start to notice like, hey, I do have enough. Like, why am I missing this payment? Or why am I getting late fees? Or why aren't I being able to afford like the groceries this month? And it's because the way you're allocating your expenses every single month needs to kind of be like taken in. And once you start to see that, you start to realize like, oh, wait, I can cut back here. Or I'm spending too much money here. I'm paying a late fee that I don't need to be paying if I pay this on time. Like there's just so many small things, and it's really just honing in on where your money is actually going. So you don't have to like immediately cut out Starbucks, and you don't have to immediately cut out all your favorite things and your splurges. You just need to figure out where your money's going, because once you see like that big picture, it allows you to really change your mindset on it.
I really love that, because you said something that really just resonated. It's the late fees. So if you just if you're not paying attention, you're kind of in la la land, and like you don't open the bills, or you don't, whatever. That's $20 or whatever.
Yeah, it is. And that starts to really add up. And not only that, sometimes there's like a late fee, and then there's like an interest fee that goes on top of that. And just even being organized with your finances and kind of understanding like, okay, well, this is due with this paycheck, and this is due the mid-month, and this is due the end of the month, and kind of being able to manage your money just by staying on top of it. It's not even like this big process where you have to have thousands of dollars saved. It's just being organized and knowing when things are due, so you're not wasting money on late fees and penalties and interest fees.
So that's very, very simple. I mean, so you're not saying you need to just like grab all of your receipts and all of your paperwork and sit down and give yourself a migraine today. Like, so all you really have to do is just be conscious of
and just kind of understand where it's going. I mean, I'm sure the majority, if you're thinking right now, it's like, okay, well, I know how much my mortgage is, or I know how much my car payment is, or health insurance. Like, the big things, and that's fine. It's just all the little things where you like nickel and dime yourself.
Right.
So I actually started with, it's on my site. I have like a free printable, and just write down like how much each thing was every month. And you can guess a little bit. You want to get your numbers, obviously, like hone them in a lot once you start budgeting, but just to get a ballpark, because then you'll see like, okay, well, we spend so much on entertainment, or we spend way too much on like, I feel like when I did this, the first thing I noticed was we were spending a lot on car insurance, and every month I just paid it, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, we're spending so much. And all I had to do was like kind of really figure out, and I called them, and we combined it with our homeowners and saved $1,200 a year. So it's like, I don't know why I waited so long. Like, it's just simple once you actually sit down. I just feel like people have this fear like, oh, I can't save money, or I can't budget, it's too much work. But in reality, it's not, because, I mean, you're sitting there spending all the money. Why not figure it out and see where it's going?
Oh, for sure. I know every like 6 months we kind of assess our bills. So it's like we check our cable and our internet, and, we'll call them up and be like, hey, are there any...
Any deals, promotions, anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're actually surprised how many companies are willing to give you a discount like that. Like, there's student discounts, there's military discounts, there's employee discounts, like everywhere, but they're not going to offer it until you ask. So it's just like taking that time to figure out like who's going to give you a discount or help you save money.
I love this. This is great. I hope people are taking notes. So, okay, now I'm going to go on a different area of money, and it's about making money. So I know there's tons of websites out there saying, oh, you can make tons of money doing these surveys, or you can do this, or you can do that. And like, I don't know. I a few years ago, I tried the whole like doing surveys, and I ended up with like a $10 gift certificate to Macy's. And I was like, okay, So I feel like they're kind of spammy. Are there any like legitimate ways for busy moms maybe working inside or outside the home that doesn't require a ton of time?
So there's definitely challenges, because it depends on your time frame and your skill set and what you're actually willing to do for that money. But there are better things than surveys. I mean, there are people I know that make decent money off surveys, but I mean, you can spend 20 minutes and it's like, oh, here's $2.25. Or it's like, I mean, every little bit helps, but like for the amount of money. So I feel like there's a couple things I would say, depending on if you want to do them like online or outside of the home. One thing I like to do, it's just so simple, is I'm sure you might have even heard of it, like even Ebates. Making money off of Ebates and like just getting like cash back is something so simple. And a lot of people think like, oh, well, it's only $2, it's only $3, but they actually have like referral things too, where it's like, okay, well, if someone else does it, you get a $5 bonus. And then before you know it, like they give you, I think if you refer like 3 friends, you get $75 in a month or something. Like they have programs that are just so simple. And then there's also like, if you have a certain skill, I definitely recommend looking into like small freelancing jobs, like on Upwork.com. They have things you can apply for. Maybe you're good with like data entry. Maybe you're good with like organizing files. I mean, they have jobs for anyone out there. Like you don't even have to have a background or a degree or anything. And you can make a little bit of extra money a month on your own time, because it's freelance work. So it's not like you have to be these set hours every single day. Right. So I feel like something like that is really, really simple, and it's not spammy because you're working for actual companies or like I know for me, I'm always looking for a VA, and they don't have to have a background in anything. I just might need them to like schedule stuff on Facebook or do different like small things. And I feel like a lot of times the people I've hired have been moms that stay at home, and they can do the work at night. They can do it whenever they want. So it's just finding like what really works for you. But there's so much spammy things like make money fast. You really do have to make sure like it's a legitimate company.
Oh, for sure. Like those blogs that you see. I've been blogging for a month and look, I made $10,000. Like,
yeah. I mean, you can definitely make money with blogging, but
for sure.
Don't let anybody fool you. It's not an overnight success. I mean, I've been doing it for years, and it's not like, oh, one day I made all this money. Like there's plenty of ways, like affiliate marketing or sponsored posts, like you can do it. But there's definitely a time commitment there, and you want to be doing a legitimate business. So if it's not something you want to actually like put a lot of effort into it, I wouldn't go that route, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Right. I love that. And I hope that people hear this.
Yeah. Trust me, I took the long route. It was not overnight for me at all.
Right. Exactly. So this is something that I wonder a lot, and I know a lot of other people do. But I'm kind of switching gears again, because I had like a few things that I really wanted to pick your brain about. But it's allowance, like children and allowances. What is your opinion? Now, everybody has their own opinion about it, but what is yours?
So I feel like allowance has become such a touchy subject.
I know. For me, don't throw stones at us, please.
For me, my oldest is 7. So we haven't really got into that age yet of allowance. My husband and I have talked about it a lot, because I feel like some days I'm like all for it and some days I'm not, because for us, we look at it as they have certain responsibilities in our home as a member of our family that are just required. Like I feel like there's things that I shouldn't have to pay them to do, whether it's cleaning up their room, making their bed, cleaning up from the kitchen table, or even setting the table. Like those aren't things I feel like they should be paid for, because I want them to know as a member of our family, like we all have our job, we all keep the house running. It's not just something that we're as the parents going to always do. But I do feel as they get older, there are things that I would like to incentivize them with, because for me, saving money is a big issue, and I want them to learn the value of $1. So I don't want them to think like, oh, I'll buy you something every single time we go to Target, or we always have the money. Like I want to teach them like you work and you get the money, and then you save it, you spend it, or you donate it. So that's a concept that we've been trying to work in with our boys. Like we want them to understand like it's not always going to be easy. We're not always going to hand you money for anything, because at this age I feel like we go to the store and they want anything and everything. So I'm always like, well, you guys have to understand like you're going to be taking $10 from your piggy bank if you do this. So there are a couple jobs that we've come up with that we've thought, okay, well, maybe in a year or two, like we'll start to save them. If you do this, you will get paid. But as of right now, I feel like it's just like they'll help with the garbages, and that's just something that they should be required to do as a member of our family, not like you do that every week, you get $5. Right. I'm sure there's going to come a time where they're going to ask to be paid for all of it. So who knows when that day will come.
Right.
But that's just kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of on the same page on the whole allowance thing now, because I definitely my kids are a little older. I have one that's going to be 21 this year. I can't believe it, but we did allowances, with her growing up. But you're right. It was like her room had to be clean, and she wasn't being paid for
the simple
her
things.
room and helping out with dinner. But we did, yard work and things like that, where it was like a big hands-on. We'd pay them for that, but we also did give allowance because I wanted them to kind of understand that.
Yeah, the concept of money too, and like once you spend it, that's it. Like it's gone. There's not more until you do something else for it.
But I love how careful they are when they are at Target with their $10 or whatever, and they're like, those Legos cost what?
Yeah, and they'll be like, wait, where's my change? I'm like, you don't get change this time, so.
Exactly. Oh goodness. For sure. So let's go back to a little bit about budgeting. So you have amazing resources on your website, and
thank you.
There's going to be links below, you guys. You can check them out. They're awesome. But so budgeting. I know every time my husband it's time to budget, I'm like. I know there's another chore out there that I could be doing.
Something else, please come up.
Because it's like we're pulling out the papers and we're like, we're gonna have a migraine. I need 3 bottles of wine right now. But so, how can somebody with zero time, or maybe not even zero time, because it's really about where you put your priorities, but so it's like that overwhelmed, just I don't even want to deal with this feeling. How could they start?
So I feel like it kind of goes back to the first thing obviously is understanding where your money's going. And if you feel overwhelmed or you feel like you have no time at all, I always tell people literally just get out a sheet of paper and just write down your major expenses. You can even look at your bank account and see how much ballpark you've spent on fast food or a trip to Target or whatever it is. Just kind of become conscientious of that. And once you start to see where your money's going and you start to realize okay, well, we're saving up for X, or we're trying to pay off our car or go on a vacation or whatever it is, your mindset starts to shift and you start to view it differently. So it's not like budgeting is this bad thing, and I know it gets a bad rep sometimes, but it becomes a part of you because you start to think okay, well, I'm not going to spend that $100 on a movie this weekend and going to dinner,
right? Because
we want to do this. And once you start to see where your money's going, you start to really kind of think twice about those decisions. And it's not okay, well, we have to budget this time. We have to it actually just becomes a part of your life, and it becomes a part of the decisions that you make, because you're really just reframing how you make decisions with budgeting and how you spend your money. It's not it shouldn't be this big process where you have to work at it and make a big deal and spend an entire day. You just spend a couple minutes a week and look, okay, well, I spent this much money. Maybe next week I'm not going to spend it here, or maybe next week I'm going to save more. And one thing I always like to tell people is if you are trying to save up for something, or maybe you're working towards a vacation or whatever it is, you need to understand. Mailman's here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Scary mailman.
Yeah. So anyways, you need to understand the concept of paying yourself first. And a lot of people do budgeting kind of backwards, where it's okay, well, we'll pay all of our bills, and at the end of the month, we'll put a certain amount towards our credit card, or we'll put a certain amount in our savings account. But you kind of need to look at yourself as a bill and kind of be okay, well, I'm going to pay myself $100 a month for my savings account, or $100 a month for my kids' college education, or whatever you're saving for, and pay that with your bills. Because if you wait to the end of the month, the money's going to be gone. Right. But if you don't have that money left in there, you're not going to go to McDonald's or spend that extra money, because it's literally not going to be there, because you've already paid yourself, you've already saved, you've done that whole concept. So it kind of just reframes your mind around budgeting.
So that is really great. So you're taking it out, maybe putting it in another account if it's a savings account, or if you're saving for a vacation, if you're But then if you're paying extra for your credit card, that's like kind of like you paying yourself because you're going to be, saving on interest later on. And
Well, yeah, and do those first, because most people pay all their bills and they're like, okay, well, I have $500 left. What am I going to do with it? But most of the time that money gets spent and you buy groceries and you buy new shoes, you buy a new purse or whatever it is.
Right.
But instead, like, pay that money towards your credit card first, or pay that money to your savings account. I mean, you can even have, like, your bank account can do that automatically. Like, when your paycheck goes in, a certain amount gets put in another account so that it's immediately saved. Otherwise, that money will never be left over. I mean, everyone is guilty of just splurging, and you see extra money in your account and you're like, woohoo, I'm going to go out and buy something. But it's like that money won't be there if you paid yourself first.
I love that. That. And I hope people like hear that and go, yes. So let's talk about, you have an amazing freebie on your, I hope I'm saying it. It is a freebie, right? The budget binder? Okay,
yeah, it's a budget binder worksheets. Yeah. It's for people who kind of feel overwhelmed with budgeting, obviously, and they just kind of want to sit down and get organized with their finances. So it doesn't technically have to be in a binder, but it's made to be put in like a little 3-ring binder. And it walks you through what you need to be doing to save money. So you can start to track your expenses. You can track your debt on there. You can write in when your payments are due. So you can check off every month, like, okay, I paid this for February, I paid it for March, and go through all your months and even calculate like how much debt you have left and when you make your payments. And it just really keeps you organized so you're not getting those late fees and penalties and everything else that you don't need to be wasting your money on.
So it's almost sounding like you're helping them build a relationship, like a positive relationship with their money, instead of just like, pushing it under the rug and hoping that there aren't too many late fees coming up.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like most people, they get into debt and then they have this like dreading mindset where it's like, okay, well, I'm in debt, so I'm never going to get out. So they never try. But in reality, like, once you just start looking at it and you see where you can save money, like, you can always make headway no matter how much your debt is.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So I would love for you to talk about your budget makeover workshop that you have.
Oh, yeah. So it's just a small little mini course, and it's for people who are ready to hit like the fast lane with budgeting and kind of like take control of their finances. It might even be like 12 to 15 lessons, I think, and it walks you through all the things you need to be doing to change your mindset and really just figure out your budget. And it's not about, I feel like most budgeting courses are about like, okay, you have to stop spending money. You have to stop going out. You have to stop going on vacations. And it's not about that. It's about figuring out how and when you can spend your money so you're not constantly in debt and you're not constantly having this dread around like your mindset of money. So it changes it and helps you not only get out of debt, but start to build that savings account.
I love that. When you said that a lot of them, they tell you need to stop immediately, stop spending money. And then it's almost like going on a diet, like not allowed to eat chocolate. And then you see it.
And then you want it so bad.
Exactly. So you're just shoving it in your mouth as fast as possible. And then you just decide, okay, I'm going to go to Target and I'm just going to buy everything. And then you buy a bunch of stupid stuff
that you don't even need. Yeah.
Right. And then it clutters your house. And then you've got a whole other problem.
Well, and that just sets you up for failure because obviously, I mean, we're humans. Like, we're going to spend money. We're going to buy things we like. I mean, no one is capable of literally buying nothing. So it's about like changing your mindset and figuring out like, okay, well, I can allow myself this much money a month, or I can spend this and enjoy going out to dinner twice a week, or whatever it is that you like doing. You could just set those so you have boundaries for yourself.
So I'm going to link all of this stuff below for everybody because I think that most people that are going to be watching this are just going to be like, I need this. Like, I'm ready to devour it all in. So I'll have it all linked up. And then I'm also going to put together a checklist so people can have just a quick reference of what we went through today, so they can really just know how to, really start building a relationship with money instead of being scared of it. So
yes.
Is there any other quick things that anybody needs to know before we?
No, I feel like the only thing I would like to say is, I know a lot of people always hear budgeting and they're like, oh yeah, well, it's easy for her, or it's easy for that person. Like, it seriously can be easy for anyone. You just have to kind of put in the time and focus on it.
I agree. I really agree. And I think that just changing the mindset a little bit of just knowing where you're spending your money, I think can really ease the pain. It's like, it's not like pulling off a Band-Aid really quick and just like seeing a mess or, you know, like really negative. It's just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. How can I pull
and
back?
I mean, it's one step at a time. It's not like you're going to start budgeting and it's going to be a miracle overnight and all your debt's going to be paid off. Like you have to kind of like give yourself some slack with it instead of putting so much pressure. Like, okay, I have to have this paid off. I'm going to be out of debt by this amount of time. Like, yeah, it's good to have the goals, but give yourself some time. I mean, you've gotten into this debt. You're not going to get out of it extremely easy or overnight or within a week. So it's okay to have setbacks. You just got to get yourself back on track with it.
I love that. I love it. So I'm going to link Frugal Fanatic, and then if you guys want to check out addieganley.com, any bloggers that are watching this, she has an amazing pin affiliate course. I'm a recipient of it. That you can check out, and I'll have everything that you need linked below. So Addie, thank you so much for joining us. And
oh, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. So again, if you guys want to check any of this stuff out, it will be below. So thank you all so much.